eat on plane in hotel. So the eating plan you can individualize. This restrictive diet is imposed. Or you do it or you don't. And here is educational. You can improve always. This is rigid, this is flexible, this is monotonous, it's always the same. I see many suggestions of diet that we have a week suggestion. Begins on Monday and it ends on Sunday. So every Monday you're going to eat the same. So I know Monday is the fish day, Tuesday is the chicken day, Sunday is the rice day. So this is very unstimulating. And here you can diverse and be creative. Here you have the tendency to binge eating. I mean, you stay all week long in a restrictive diet. When weekends came, you go to inside the refrigerator, close the door, and eat everything inside the refrigerator. And here you have no binge eating tendency. Restrictive diet is linked to suffering, hungry. You go into a party and somebody invites you, oh, take a piece of cake, a piece of pie. Oh no, I am on diet, and you make a very sad face. And with eating plan, you can eat a piece of pie, and the other day we're going to improve your. So there is satisfaction and well-being when you eating plan. Restrictive diet, you lose weight, but when you stop your diet, you probably begins to recover everything you lose. And here we have sustained weight loss for life. This restrictive diet always are unbalanced diet. So you lose weight, but you lose fat and muscles. And remember, obesity is not weight; it's body composition. If you lose muscle, you are not improving your body composition. And the eating plan, even if you are exercising, you maintain your limits. Okay? You cannot do nothing if you are in a restrictive diet. You can go to party, you can go to travel, and in an eating plan you can do anything you like. It's your social activity. And mainly, in the restrictive diet, you are afraid to eat. Oh, I cannot eat because I'm on diet. And here you have pleasure, you're glad to eating. And finally, restrictive diet often excludes doctor and dietitians. You can have your diet on the magazine, a book. Oh, this year the book is South Beach diet, the French diet, you know. So you don't need to go to doctor or a health professional. We only do this. And eating plan always include a health professional. So this is only to explain why the diet is a forbidden word and eating plan or education is much better. Okay? So this is the vicious cycle that I was talking before on physical activity. Mainly at children, the most obese, most sedentary. You know, an obese boy don't like to play soccer. They don't feel okay playing soccer with other children. So the more sedentary, more obese, and more obese, more sedentary. And city danger, we are talking about some violence in city, you know, some neighborhoods, some environments nowadays not that safe as it used to be a few years ago. In Brazil, there is some neighborhoods that if your kid going to bike on a square, it's possible that someone robbed the bike and people come back home with no bike, no tennis shoes. So nowadays many parents prefer that children remains at home. And technological advances make us less active. When I am at my office and I ask to a boy, do you play soccer? He probably will answer me, oh yes, I play FIFA soccer, winning 11, and many video games that. And on the other hand, now we have what we call healthy games or active games. Maybe you have heard about this Wii and Kinetics games. That is a good opportunity if you have the children in room. You can, there's many dancing games or sport games that increase physical activity. This is some example we have in our clinic. We have a escalate wall. This is a skateboard. We have many dances, many activities. And physical activity is good for body and it's good for mind. So when you are under physical activity, you improve your weight, you improve your flexibility, you improve your fat profile, increase good fat and decrease bad fat, improve your stamina, your resistance, increase the calcium content on bone, sure improve muscular strength, improve the glucose metabolism, and reduce hypertension. And for mind, improves mood. You know, when you are under physical exercise, you release many let me remember the word.
Endorphin.
But the endorphin, serotonin, and adrenaline are neurotransmitters. So those neurotransmitters that you release when you are exercising yourself is very important for your mind. When you are exercising, your heart rate increase and you pump more oxygenated blood to your brain. So it's very important to mood, reduce depression, reduce social isolation. You're going to the beach or to the street to walk, increase your self-esteem, wellness, relieve the stress. Exercise is a very good tool to relieve stress. I gave you some practical examples like walk the dog, take care of the garden, mow the lawn, sweep the house. Mothers love when I say this, sweep the house, clean the windows, dance, play, have fun, wash the car. Daddy loves when I say this. Swimming, cycling, roller, surf, judo, anything you can. Avoid lifter, use the stairs. Reduce the use of wireless phone. You know, every time the phone rings, if you go to where the phone is, you need to walk a little bit. At the end of a year, it makes difference the amount of energy you waste. And this is funny because if you park the car a few blocks further than you need to go, I don't know here in Malaysia, but in Brazil, it's very possible that when you come back, somebody steal your car. So you need to go to a police station and you waste a lot of energy. But this is my key point. Just do not tell, we have to do also. I mean, children pay much more attention in what we do than in what we tell. So as parent, as doctor, as media professional, if you only say but you don't do, the message is very lack. The strength message is first I do, first you know, in the city I live, many times I go to my office cycling with my bicycle, with my tie, my suit. Many people say, oh, the gasoline is expensive, isn't it, doctor? And I say, no, but I feel comfortable to give this good example. You know, I do what I'm recommending. And after diet and after physical activity, those behavior changes. change of attitude. It seems that the food is the eighth wonder of the world. And it is. So you cannot fight against obesity and continue thinking like an obese person that chocolate and cake and candy is the most important thing in the world. And this, to describe a behavior, is the first step to modify. I mean, we used to have an intake record. I give a sheet paper that I have Monday to Sunday, and we have breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, and snack. And I ask the children and family to feel reporting exactly what they are eating and how they are feeling. Many times you can see that at the end of the day, when the children is more stressed, is the time that they have some compulsion, some binge eating disorder. So you can have your intake record and physical activity registration. If you do nothing on Monday, probably you're going to make something on Tuesday to repair that you do nothing on. So describe a behavior is very important too. And we say in Portuguese that when it's close to eyes, it's close to heart. I mean, if children arrive home and she sees a big package of biscuit over the table, she probably will take one. And if she arrive home and find a big amount of fruit and vegetables, she probably will take a banana or an apple, So change the home environment is very important. And about emotional suffering, many of our obese kids, maybe they feel like this little cat. Imagine an obese children going to a school, everyone is in good shape and only you is overweighted. So many times that those nicknames, those bad names, the first thing that you don't need to do as health professional when you are facing childhood obesity is become one of those dogs, one more dog in this cat life, So we got to work on self-esteem, improve on self-image, always reinforcing. The power of price. They are so used to be prejudiced that when they came to our office and we prize, oh, you are so cute today, or doctor, I made everything wrong. But I say only the fact that you are here today is already a good proof that you do want to change. So I used to say that the price is the gasoline that makes the lose weight engine works. So the most you price an obese children, more you increase the self-esteem, the self-image, and more you're going to have. Okay? So what we should do? Obesity, do you agree with me, is that it's a big, difficult to control disease. We have high percentages of failures and relapses. So the best tool we have is prevention. It's much more smart, clever to prevent than to treat an obese children. And when we have already, this is a 4-month-old baby, 4-year, 10-year, 15 years, when you are in front of a person with such kind of obesity, is very difficult to treat. It's not impossible. We have nowadays some alternatives, but the key goal is never let something happens like this. You have to prevent. And when we can prevent childhood obesity. So we have school actions in my task on Ministry of Health in Brazil. We made a school program. We have governmental actions to increase places where children can play. Family actions to, thank you, working with family. Our actions as doctor, media actions like we are doing today to sharing information. In company actions, many companies, Herbalife in Brazil, I don't know if you have something here in Malaysia, but in Brazil we have 3 times a week somebody came in the Herbalife office with the employees and they make some exercise and we have some healthy snacks. Those are in-company actions that you can promote our healthy style.
Yeah, we have that in our offices. It's called wellness program.
Wellness program, yeah. Do you have something like this in Malaysia? Maybe. Oh, it's nice. So this is important. If we are available to identify those children who are really at risk for becoming overweight, and if you are able to modify these risk factors, so we will prevent childhood obesity. My point is, we need to know which is the children that is under risk factor, and I will show you that we have 2 sorts of risk factors. One that we can modify, and those that we cannot modify. So if you can decrease these risk factors, we are preventing childhood obesity. Remember that childhood obesity itself is a risk factor for obesity in adults. American Heart Association claims that preventing childhood obesity is the most powerful tool to prevent cardiovascular disease in adults. This is very powerful. And we have 2 kinds of risk factors. Those from environment that we can modify, and those genetic that nowadays still is impossible to modify. So we have to work on these modifiable risk factors. So prevention of obesity begins in childhood. Someone disagree? I disagree. I disagree. The prevention of childhood obesity begins yet in intrauterine life, and I will show you. This is what we used to call Barker's theory, and when you are malnutrition intrauterine life until the first year, it's like this kid learn how to make the metabolic work with low energy, and he will spend our lifetime doing the same. So these children that suffering malnutrition intrauterine life probably have the increased chance to have type 2 diabetes, obesity, and there is, of course, external factors like superprotection is very little babies. But the prevention begins in pregnancy. So mothers, expecting mothers that gain many weight and those that are malnutrition, both are risk factor to develop childhood obesity. So here's the first step. And the second is the breast milk. You know, there is a lot of studies, a lot of papers that breast milk protects against obesity in any age. I mean, children that breast milk feed is protecting during the childhood and in the adult life. There is few obese people overweight as adult that was feed breast breastfeeding exclusively in the first 6 months. So the first step, pregnancy. The second step, breast milk. And we have, so this is some campaigns we have in Brazil. So turn your child into a little Einstein, breastfeeding. This plastic to plastic, skin to skin, I think it's very, very powerful. I like this. These are some t-shirts we're doing to promote, so mothers who is breastfeeding, they can wear that shirts that, thank you mommy. And I like very much this one. The guy is losing the chest and say, oh, I wish I was breastfeed because it increased. So this is very popular ways to promote breastfeeding. Nowadays, unfortunately, it's very common women to reduce the time of breastfeeding. We strongly recommend in the first 6 months of life, exclusively breastfeeding. No tea, no water, no other formula, only breast milk. And as I told you, the heredity is one of the most important risk factor. I told you 70 or more % of risk if both father and mother are obese. If only one, the chance falls to 50%. If no parents are obese, the chances are less than 10%. So having obese parents double the risk to you remain obese as when you became adult. And this is important to ladies, childhood obesity seems to be more linked to biological mother. And this got two explanations. One is that the mitochondrion is the place in cell that we expend energy. We earn this from our mothers, the mitochondrion. And the mothers are much more, they teach us much more about lifestyle. Usually father is more away from home, so mother is the key person that we need to work to prevent childhood obesity. And remember that family acts both by genetics that we cannot modify, but by environment and behavior side. Okay? This is a big risk of factor, the improper use of food. You know, many kids are more concerned on the appearance of. I mean, there is some brands of chocolate that they are not that tasty, but the cover brings some Disney or some other things that kids wants to buy it, not for the taste, but for the appearance. So this is a risk factor. And use food as reward of punishment. Okay, you have good records at school, I give you chocolate bar. Or if you don't eat the soup, you don't have the dessert. Is that a way to punish? Those are both are wrong approaches to use the food. And since we are very young, we are used to deal with our feelings by mouth. I mean, when a baby is crying, the first thing you think is, oh, the baby is hungry. And if the baby is not hungry, we put something on mouth for baby stop crying. So we learn since we are very young to deal with this emptiness, with these bad feelings by mouth. Many times we arrive home, there is nobody home, and you feel something like sadness, something like emptiness. What do? You go to the kitchen, to the refrigerator, and eat something. You're not hungry. You are probably feeling some emptiness. So it's very important to pay attention why I'm going to eat? Am I hungry? Or when I am satisfied? Okay, I'm okay. Do I need to eat more if I still feel fuller? And you know, the Chinese food example. Chinese cuisine is one of the healthier cuisine in the world. It's very healthy. But when Chinese restaurant starts to open in US, in one side of the street there was one Chinese restaurant, and the other side of the street are other Chinese restaurant. And the owner realized that the most oil, the most fat you put into the food, more American people, customers like the food. So, I don't know, but if you go to a Chinese restaurant in the US, probably you're going to eat the very bad quality of food, because the amount of fat and yogurt, if you increase the amount of sugar, it happens in some moment that you can put sugar no more. But if you increase the amount of fat in a yogurt, you already have an ice cream, and still you want to increase more and more fat. Our brain is programmed to look for fat in food, so we need to decrease it. And this is the food pyramid. This is what we recommend. The basis is healthy carbohydrates, fruits and vegetables, milk and protein, and here in the top, goodies and candies and you know, this grocery. And this is the real pyramid, what children really eat. You see, if you're going to a children and make it for real, you're going to see soft drink, biscuits, sausage, fried potatoes, cheese, meat, beef, beans, and at the very top, fruit and vegetables. So we recommend one thing, and they do exactly the. So what we have to do is to put this upside down and downside down to turn the size of serving. It's not a binge eating that I want to show you here, but I want you to pay attention in the size of those bottles. You can see this is probably a 3-liter soft drink. This is 1 gallon of milk, and this is very big portion. I remember, you can see in this is the soft drink in 1894. It was 192 milliliters. Now a glass is half liter. You can see the famous Popeye hamburger is like this, 28 grams. And now we have 2 or 3 levels of. I think that someday we got to use a stair to go to the top of our sandwich. And the popcorn, in the beginning of 20th century, it was 170 calories. Now it's almost 1,000 calories. I don't know here in Malaysia, but in Brazil we can go to a movie and you buy a package of popcorn and you can refill. You buy one, so when you finish this, you can leave, go there and the lady refill it for you, and you keep. Don't remember the movie, but you make a lot of popcorn. So this is the portion control is very interesting. This is the little bottle of this soda, 2 liters, and nowadays we have 3 liters. And you can see the size of the customer is still growing, and it's powerful. So everything in childhood and adolescence obesity got to do with lack of limits, and we need my point is there is no bad food or forbidden food, but we have to combine what we how many we should have and when is the hour to stop or to continue. The childhood publicity, this is very important for you that work in media, because when I'm making some advertising, some propaganda to our children, I have two goals. The first one, I need to promote the desire in children to have that product. But children, they cannot, they have no economic power for their own. Most part of time they don't get their own money. So the propaganda to children must to promote the desire, and to teach how to convince the parents to buy to them. So imagine bicycle advertising. In 30 seconds, you need to make the children want that bike and teach he or she how to get this from their parents. And with bad food is the same. Nowadays in Brazil it's completely forbidden to have junky food advertising in the programs to children. I mean, in cartoons time or in those programs that is directed to children, you cannot advertise any fried potato, hamburger, soft drink, chocolate. And it's funny that I never saw an apple or a carrot propaganda in television, only those programs. And finally, to fight against sedentary, remember that the most common way that children waste energy is playing. So it's very important to promote this possibility to children goes to nature and expand energy. So to make a long speech short, everything that I'm talking today is we have to fight, we have to improve the lifestyle. And as example, maybe we need to stop children to play with toys like this and come back to play with toys simple like this. Maybe is the best approach, okay? A good fight for all of us. I will let you know this is my email. But if you need more information, you can talk to Mommy or to Ruben, and we can provide. Thank you very much for your kind attention.